Welcome back to this info bite on the future of the workforce and its impact on the focus of the workforce analytics function. Last time I spoke about technology and the changing attitude of the worker. This time I'd like to consider a changing role for the people manager and how this may alter the metrics that measure their success. And also the importance for the analyst to embrace a more universal data set. So to the people manager, if we accept that a significant proportion of the available workforce with in-demand skills will choose to have a portfolio career, that is, not necessarily seeking an exclusive permanent association with an employer, what could this mean for the role of the manager? Perhaps there'll be some kind of alchemist sourcing and integrating the skills of this confident and expert contingent labour with incumbent professionals. Less about command, more about evoking a compelling project outcome, attracting the right professionals through their personal reputation. So therefore, a core competence could be their ability to build and draw on this network. Is the manager employed by an organisation to staff specific projects, or could they in fact be retained by these clusters or cooperatives to approach organisations with a brief to tout for work? It's conjecture, of course, but there will be a shift and there will be a new focus for the workforce analyst. So what of the workforce analyst then? Certainly, if they aren't already, they should be measuring resource, not just in terms of heads and FTE, but in terms of total labour cost, and running some kind of profit and loss account based on the return of investment on human capital. Perhaps the manager should be measured based not just on what they know, but who they know, that ability to form and utilise a network. And should the analyst not only be plotting optimal career paths within an organisation, but also across whole industry sectors to ensure that both permanent and contingent labour groups can plan their careers to align with in-demand services. Of course, to do this effectively, the analyst must understand business and industry strategy, and I'm not sure today that is always the case. But moving on, the analyst must embrace a universal data set. So customer satisfaction scores. What are the workforce drivers? Employee surveys. Do people always act as they say they're going to act? And sales. What are the attributes of sales professionals that most effectively hit the bottom line? There is nothing particularly new here, of course, but it's something that the workforce analyst doesn't always do well, yet an area where a real impact can be made. This could be by providing the insight that aligns training initiatives with corporate imperatives, and then measuring the impact of this training on business KPIs, such as sales, such as customer service. It could be a little more holistic, hypothesizing and then measuring the effect of matching resource to the demographics of the customers they face. I worked with one bank who hypothesized that if a customer walks into a bank looking to make an investment, they'll be much more likely to make that investment if they are dealt with by someone who has shared or may have shared the same life experiences. And this assumption was proved correct through workforce analytics. I also worked with a broadband provider who found that their retention rate of customers in the 50+ age bracket was poor. We sought feedback from these customers, and the problem wasn't with the performance of the broadband, the issue was in their interaction with the support centre. The staff are typically younger, anecdotally mainly male, and their use of jargon was seen as an annoyance. By tweaking the demographic of these staff and by introducing plain English into customer interactions, the retention rate was much improved. This had a significant impact on revenue, workforce analytics affecting the bottom line. Who would have thought? But perhaps the most interesting emerging data set is that relating to networks. In trying to build my practice, I've drawn on the alumni networks of people I've worked with as colleagues, as clients, and as service providers. But these are, in the main, personal, informal networks. Which networks can the workforce analyst access to look for trends and provide insight and predictive analytics? Well, many organisations tag their graduate intake on their HRIS to track their movements across the business during their time on a scheme. This could be extended, if it hasn't already, to extend to the full life cycle of their employment. By role type or seniority, it would perhaps be interesting to understand which source provides the best returns to the business. I remember looking at the finance intake in one organisation. The graduate scheme was attractive, a 2-year period of ample time ring-fenced for study. The scheme was very popular, but the retention rate of these individuals was appalling. 80% didn't make 3 years of tenure. Why? Well, the accounting qualification most were encouraged to attain offered a fast-track option with 2 blocks of exams each year, which meant an individual could become a pass finalist in 2 years. At which point they were attracted to the market as semi-experienced hires, and off they went to better salaries. So what was the recommendation? Extend the scheme beyond 2 years, spread the study leave over this longer period, building more rotation around the business with an increased focus on work-based project work. The result, a much improved retention rate and a group of individuals much better prepared to make a contribution to the business. Common sense, of course, but measured through workforce analytics. So next time, to conclude this info bite, I'll be looking at the new breed of employer, understanding what the employee values, and the concept of HR promoting the company's brand, and how all of this may impact the focus of the workforce analyst. Thank you for your time.